Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh. Today is Monday, June 15th. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing both the first and second stimulus check. And yes, believe it or not, there are still people who have not yet received their first stimulus payment, which is unfortunate, but I do not want to move on completely to the second stimulus check until every last one of you guys receives your first stimulus payment. And if you have not yet received your first stimulus payment, hang in there. They haven't forgotten about you. In fact, there is a new official trending payout date for June 17th, which is coming up on Wednesday this week. So if you haven't checked the payment portal in the last few days, I would strongly encourage you to do so. You may also have a payout date of June 17th. And if you do, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know whether or not you're also receiving a date of June 17th as well. And then also let me know if you're still not receiving a date. And if you're not receiving a date, hang in there, your time will definitely come. Remember, you're definitely eligible as long as you're not being claimed as a dependent on anyone else's tax returns, and as long as you don't have something like past due child support that could potentially offset your stimulus payment, you're definitely going to receive your stimulus payment. So hang in there, your time is definitely coming soon. All right, so I'd like to start this video out by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. So I'm going to start out this video with a comment from Wasim. And Wasim says, "Hey Josh, I finally got the deposit date. SSDI Direct Express on the 17th. Thanks for your help and support." So I wanted to start this video out with a comment with someone receiving a payment on the 17th, just to give some hope to you guys that haven't yet received your payment. There are still more and more people receiving their payment, and Wasim is one of the many people who have been waiting several weeks to receive a date. He was looking at the payment portal, there was nothing there. Payment status not available day after day, but it did eventually update. So if you're still getting payment status not available, hang in there. You could always try capitalizing your street address or abbreviating your street address, but most likely if you're receiving payment status not available, it just means that the IRS has not yet scheduled a delivery date. So in the meantime, just continue checking every single day, or maybe just every few days if it's stressing you out too much. All right, so the next comment today is from Calvin. Calvin says, "Hey Josh, I've been receiving Social Security retirement since 2016. I live outside the United States and my check is directly deposited to a US bank. I do not have outstanding child support and have not received my first check yet. Can it be because I live outside the United States?" All right, Calvin, thank you so much for that question. And since you do live abroad, there can sometimes be issues with the IRS delivering direct deposits to people who do live abroad. Because if you do live abroad and you do not have a US-based bank, if you have a foreign bank, then in those cases, the IRS would not be able to directly deposit your stimulus payment. Instead, they would have to mail you a check, which of course would take much longer. But in this case, since you do have a US-based bank, that's what you're currently using, that's how you usually receive your direct deposits, they should not have an issue in directly depositing your stimulus payment. So in this case, I would just chalk it up to the IRS being extremely slow and then just taking a long period of time to directly deposit your stimulus payment, just like the others. So in the meantime, just try to hang in there. I know it's stressful, but continue checking the payment portal and you should definitely receive a date. And in the meantime, I would also continue to check your bank account each and every day, because even though it is rare, in some cases the IRS does process your payment, even though the payment portal never even ends up updating. All right, moving right along to the next question of today's video is from Darren. Darren says, "Would you still get a stimulus check if somebody claimed you on their taxes for 2019? Okay, Darren, thank you so much for that question. And yes, unfortunately, the IRS does go off the most recent tax year. And since the most recent tax year was 2019, and if you were claimed in 2019 on somebody else's taxes as a dependent, then unfortunately you would not be eligible for a stimulus payment. Now, underneath the HEROES Act, which was actually indeed passed by the House of Representatives, even dependents were eligible for a stimulus payment. Now, unfortunately, the HEROES Act was dead on arrival and the Senate does not plan on passing that bill. But if they do something similar and they end up passing a similar bill to that where dependents would receive a stimulus payment, then you would be in luck as far as the next stimulus payment goes. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right, moving right along to the last question of today's video is from Rita. Rita says, "Will everyone get a second check, even people on SSI or Social Security or veterans?" All right, Rita, thank you so much for that question. So this is only speculation on my part right now, but I am strongly guessing that yes, it shouldn't be much different than the CARES Act. The only thing that could possibly change in this next stimulus bill is that perhaps, like I mentioned before in the last answer, is that dependents may get paid as well, just because there are so many dependents that were left out in the last bill and there was a lot of complaints. So I think they may try to make it so dependents get paid as well. in the next bill. We'll just have to wait and see. But I don't see why people on Social Security, SSI, or veterans, RRB, shouldn't get paid in the next bill. I think they should definitely be included. Again, that's just speculation. There hasn't been a bill actually passed, but I would strongly speculate that they should definitely get paid in the next bill. All right, guys, so once again, if you have not gotten paid your first stimulus payment yet, just continue checking the payment portal. That is your #1 resource at this point in time. You could always try calling the IRS at 1-800-919-9835. But unfortunately, most of the time when people call, they end up waiting on hold for a few hours and then they don't actually end up receiving any type of help. So for the most part, I would say they're not that helpful, and I would just continue checking the payment portal. Remember, you're definitely eligible as long as you're not being claimed as a dependent, as long as you don't have past due child support. You are going to eventually receive a date, and they're still going out week after week, so your time will eventually come. So moving right along to some updates about the second stimulus payment. I do have one update, and it's actually from a tweet from White House advisor Peter Navarro. And in the tweet, he basically kind of insinuates that President Trump is looking for at least $2 trillion in the next stimulus package, which is great news because we've been hearing a lot of people in the Senate say they're looking more towards $1 trillion. And when you only have $1 trillion to play with, even though that seems like a lot of money, with all the other fluff that they wanted to put into the bill, that wouldn't leave that much more for stimulus payments. So now that we're looking at $2 trillion versus just $1 trillion, we're looking at a much higher chance for more stimulus payments to the American people. So all in all, that is very, very good news. Okay, so I did want to wrap up this video by talking about some of the ways that you guys can make some extra money while waiting for the next stimulus payment. Or if you guys haven't even received your first stimulus payment yet, making some extra money could be helpful in paying off the groceries or just paying off some bills that we have while we wait for the next stimulus payment. So if you're like me or a lot of other people, you may have a lot of used items in your storage closet that may be considered junk to you, and items that you would normally just end up donating or just end up throwing them out. But before you end up donating these items, before you end up throwing them out, I would strongly encourage you to look these items up on eBay or Poshmark or Mercari. So let's say, for example, you have some used clothing that you no longer wear anymore. And yes, people do buy used clothing, so this is something that you can sell on eBay. So let's say that you have some used clothing that you never wear anymore. So you can actually go right on ebay.com and you can search the exact brand that you have, the same size, and you can see what these items are selling for. So let's take, for example, let's search up Nike t-shirt in size XL. So we'll type in Nike t-shirt XL and we'll search for that. And then at that point, we'll filter in the condition. So we'll click on condition and click on pre-owned. And then after that, we'll scroll down the page and we will filter out for the sold listings. So this page right here is going to bring up all the Nike t-shirts in size XL that are pre-owned. And it's going to let us know all the Nike t-shirts in size XL that are pre-owned, and it's going to show us the sold prices. So let's take, for example, right here, this listing right here sold on June 14th of 2020. It was a Nike men's gray mesh over logo t-shirt size XL, and it sold for $10.50 plus $6.05 shipping. So in this example right here, this person made a little over $16 on a t-shirt that he normally may have just thrown out or donated. And even though $16 may not seem like a lot of money, it really does add up. And let's say that you have 10 used clothing items that could sell for $16 that you normally would have just thrown out. Well, guess what? That's $160 in your pocket. So that is one of the things that I would recommend. And eBay isn't the only website that you can sell your used items on. You can also sell them on Mercari or Poshmark. Those are 2 free applications that you can download and sell your used items on. And of course, you can sell other items than just used clothes as well. You can sell your used electronics. If you have old records, yes, records are still very popular on eBay. If you have old CDs, you can sell your CDs on there. Other electronic, maybe kitchenware that you no longer use. So really any items that you have stashed away in your storage room that you no longer use, maybe you're just thinking about donating them, or maybe they're just taking up space in your house, look them up on eBay, see what they're selling for. If they're selling for a good price, then put them up there. The only thing that I would recommend once again is checking the sold listings, just so you know a realistic price for your item, because you don't want to put your item at a higher price and then it never gets sold, and you also don't want to put it at a much lower price, ends up getting sold very quickly, but then losing out on a ton of potential profits. So in the comment section below, let me know whether or not you think you will start up an eBay store. I'm sure you have at least a few items around your house that you may want to get rid of that you could potentially sell on eBay for a pretty good profit. So if you do decide to start up an eBay store, feel free to leave your eBay store link in the comment section below. And perhaps if other people in the community click on it, if they see something that they like, maybe we can help each other out by purchasing some items in our store, and that could be of good benefit to all of us. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I do hope that the content in this video was helpful. And if it was, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. At the moment, I am posting daily stimulus payment updates. And until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.